Hello, my name is Eric Putkonen. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm talking about beyond boredom and interest. If we look at interest, it really is a mental thing. It is through our analysis that we find interest. Interest is derived by its newness or freshness and its rarity. If it's not new and you've seen it many, many times before, it's not deemed interesting. But this is a mental thing. And when things are not deemed interesting, we call the opposing boredom. So there's nothing interesting. I'm bored. That's a phrase we may use. There's nothing interesting going on, so I'm bored. And this feeling of boredom arises because we don't mentally deem anything as interesting. But I would say the trick is to get beyond this mental level, this mental judgment. Because there is also the possibility of, well, think of if you're going to see a rose or an extremely pretty flower of some kind. And as you're sitting there looking at it, and you see and feel the aliveness and beauty of it, even if you've seen it many times before, if you've seen roses before, it doesn't matter. It's being with this aliveness, this beauty, this awe, this wonder, that it is that brings this joy and excitement of it being there. Or it could be a rainbow. You know, a rainbow isn't particularly common. I mean, it doesn't happen all the time. And so on a mental level, you go, oh, that might be interesting. But really, if you go with the feeling of awe and wonder, there's this, rainbows are an amazing thing. If you go with the feeling, it doesn't matter how many times you see them or how common they become. I mean, you could have a hose and you could be spraying it in such a way a rainbow appears and you're like, wow, that's awesome. It's not considered boring. It is this being with the aliveness, the wonder, the awe of it, is something that children have naturally, and that's why they find everything interesting, which it's not really interesting, it's beyond interesting. But they can look at ants going back and forth from their anthill and be captivated for hours, while any adult would look at it and soon get bored. Oh, look at the repetition, another ant's going back and forth. They would get bored with it very quickly because in their analysis, oh, I know what's going on, and there's nothing new, there's nothing unique, and so it's just not interesting anymore. It's not I know too many people that have sometimes come to me saying, how do I get over this feeling of boredom? The trick is to find the playfulness, the aliveness, the awe and wonder of everything that is. I mean, you could look at the most mundane of things, and if you have this feeling of wonder and awe of it, it's interesting in its own right. It doesn't need anything else. But that requires a different way of seeing. And that's why this video came about as titled Beyond Boredom and Interest. It's because there is this feeling that of joy, of excitement, of wonder, of awe, of playfulness, of aliveness. There's this feeling that we can connect with when we're viewing the world or viewing others, or seeing an ant, seeing a tree, seeing a flower, whatever. Doing our taxes even. It really doesn't matter. But if you are with the playfulness, the aliveness, the joy, the wonder, there's an excitement that goes with it that we often confuse with interest. We think, because interest has a certain feeling of excitement too, and we kind of like that feeling, and so we tend to associate that excitement only with interest. And if we're not interested, we don't have this excitement at all, and so we call that boredom. There's no excitement, I'm bored. But that excitement can arise through wonder, awe, aliveness, playfulness, and so it doesn't have to depend on the mental interest of this is something new, it's something fresh, it's something it's an analyzed judgment kind of basis. It doesn't have to, that excitement doesn't have to depend on that. And when you are able to sit with the playfulness of life, there really isn't boredom. Everything is a game, everything is play. Where is there boredom? I mean, sitting on a park bench and just watching people go by and watching the grass grow would also be just as full of aliveness and wonder and joy and excitement as anything else. That too is play. And so when people are plagued by boredom and trying to figure out how to get around interest, it's because of the mental judgment. Boredom and interest are mental things. You need to stick more with the feeling. There's a feeling of aliveness and playfulness and wonder and awe. And it's these things that keep the excitement going on, not whether it's mentally deemed interesting or uninteresting. But anyways, if you got any questions, comments, please post below. Until next time, thank you much.